Yes, I want to welcome you to yet another wonderful episode of Bezos Chibozi. And it's a new week, it's a new feeling, it's a new everything. Today I want to talk about more of the non-negotiables of your life so that you feel like me today. You have a good feeling, you're feeling okay, you're everything. So yes, what are non-negotiables? What are those things that in your life you should not negotiate them being changed? Because you need to define your non-negotiable, or else life will define them for you. You see, back then in school and also a little bit younger than today, I thought being flexible is a good thing and a virtue to some people. But you see, being flexible only shows an insecurity of you want to feel more important because you can do everything that everyone asks you to do. It is something that I've been trying to fight for most of my life because I lived this point where I wanted people to like me, people to say this boy is helpful, this boy is what, even on things that I wasn't really very sure of doing. A small story I could say is growing up, my father used to give us assignments to do at home. Most of these things were based on your ability or based on what you could give at the time. Now, being a younger person, because I'm the last born on my father's side, I used to not do a lot. But the one thing I learned from my sister, because I follow my sister, I follow a daughter, my sister, she had things that she would never do because they were non-negotiables in her life. Given that, yes, they were given by her father to do, some of these things were non-negotiables for her. Why? We had housekeepers. I could call them house helps or shamba boys or what. And one of the things that we had to do was help out on some of the activities, maybe the compound, slashing, cleaning, and all that. But one non-negotiable I saw from my sister was she was not ready to do work that someone is getting paid for. She would rather tell that person to do the work. But you see, if it is something that you do not define, then life will define it for you. You'll end up doing the work. You lie to yourself that you're being flexible or you're being helpful. And yet, this is touching into your time. I'll later explain how. But you see, non-negotiables are the things that anchor your life. They keep you from drifting into chaos. Some of these things include the first and the most important, your boundaries. You see, this is something that everyone talks about, but it's something that very few people enforce. If you find yourself very drained, maybe at the end of the week, chances are that your non-negotiables are up for sale. You're doing very many things that you're not supposed to do. You negotiated within your mind and you ended up doing them. Your boundaries are not okay. You need to look into that. You see, once your boundaries are okay, you never get drained. You do what you're supposed to do. You do it in the time you're supposed to do it. But if you negotiate on boundaries, that's where the thing called kamanyiro or familiarity for the English speakers, familiarity comes from there. Familiarity is bred, I could say, yes. The breeding grounds for familiarity are broken boundaries. The other thing is peace. Personally, I want peace. And that's a non-negotiable. Peace is a non-negotiable. There are some battles that are not for you to fight. If you see some of these things are not worth it, don't go in, because when you go in, you're going to disturb your peace. Peace helps with mental health. Peace helps with everything. You know, people are more productive if they are peaceful in their minds. Which brings me to the next non-negotiable is your faith and belief systems. You see, the things that you believe in, the God that you believe in, the truth that you believe in, the inner compass that you believe in is something you should never negotiate on, because it defines how you see this world. The best thing is to always stay rooted. Do not negotiate your faith. Once you see anything that is going to get you into that space of, am I really supposed to believe in this or what, that's a negative thing. One thing you should always protect is the faith and belief systems you have in your life. But remember that people also have their own belief systems. So never impose what other people. If you see other people's belief systems are bad, never impose your own belief system. Just influence people to join you. Do not impose. Because already in the advice that I'm giving is that your faith and belief systems should be non-negotiable. Then, after your faith and belief systems are non-negotiables, then comes in your purpose. Your purpose in this world should be a non-negotiable. If it is something, let me say your purpose, personally my purpose is to give out help and use my voice to open people's minds. If your purpose is that, everything that comes around disturbing that purpose is chaos and noise. You should already be focused on keeping your purpose. Focused on keeping it a non-negotiable. Focused on, no one should come to you and say, Andrew, I like what you're saying, this and this and this. I want you to start talking about this. And that thing does not settle well with you. So once you accept it, it means you've negotiated your non-negotiable, which was your purpose. Then takes me back to the mental health thing. Your mental health is a non-negotiable, because everything begins from up and then the rest follows. Then the other thing is your time. Wow, people who do not keep time, people who negotiate on the idea of time, they lose out a lot. You see, we all have 24 hours, but it depends on how you use your 24 hours. 8 are spent sleeping, 2 for maybe waking up. You need to see what is that thing that I'm supposed to be doing in that given time. And that time should never be negotiated. Never. Because we all have the 24 hours. People who come to ask for 3 hours, they are removing 3 hours from your time for you to add them time. There's a movie I watched called Time Lapse, and that would show you basically, it was a Justin Timberlake movie. It would show you basically the value of time. So the people in the movie had a green thing, a green number on their I hope I got the name of the movie right, because this may be misleading, but they had a green print on their hand and it would show the time they are left with on the earth. Now, most of the people would reach 24 years, then you go and they rewire your time. But you have free 24 years from when you're born. So if you want to live more than 24 years, then you go, you keep buying, you what. So the whole thing was time was a currency. If you needed maybe a cup of tea, you go, you give in 15 seconds or 12 minutes, things like that. That was the payment system. In that life there, time was a non-negotiable. It was something that you would not just come and steal from someone. So that is something you should always think about, because the way you spend your time dictates your self-worth, dictates your productivity, dictates everything. And when you negotiate any of these things, you tend to now get the effects of negotiating your non-negotiables. The first and the most common is living in regret. You will live in regret when you betray yourself. Some people, when they play around with their non-negotiables, they become unseen. They become so common and the funny bit about life is that if you're trying to be flexible and you're trying to do everything, life won't reward you that way. Life rewards specialists, people who have specialized on one given task and doing it over and over and over again. That's why we go to work every day, every Monday up to Friday. We are going to work every day, dress very clean, everything, but doing almost the same things over and over and over, because that's how life rewards. I want to maybe end by saying that you need to sit down and see what are those negotiated things that you have negotiated. Then what are those things that you from today are going to be your non-negotiable, things that you're not going to see and let them be. You're going to make sure that people respect your boundaries, people respect your peace, people respect the non-negotiables in your life, things that you can't negotiate on. Otherwise, I think that is it from me for this week. Most of it may have been jumbled, but I hope you get the message. Otherwise, keep it at Bezos Chibozi, for these are voices that open your mind, and see you next week. Peace out.